Okay, so let me make sure that you have this first one done. You have all three of the graphic organizers done, right, Arlene?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's like the only requirement. You have to have all three done to be able to do the next step. Okay, so here's your graphic organizer. I'm going to be using this to construct your first body paragraph. So let me go and open up your essay. Okay, Arlene, if you could, like I asked Faith, if you could start putting in your first name, last name, the period, and the date. And then again, I'm going to highlight the title, reminding myself I'm going to come back to this. So I don't want to title my essay until the end of my essay. So I'm going to take Faith's graphic organizer, and I'm going to go through and just copy these. Okay, this is going to be my introduction. Okay, this is just a reminder for me as like a placeholder what this paragraph is going to be. I'll work on that more later. Okay. So again, I'm just going through and copying. I think I could highlight the whole thing. So what I do is I just want to paste it without the boxes. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I was able to copy and paste the whole thing. Okay, so then after I pasted it in, I'm going to go through and remove these titles. So claim, evidence, warrant, I'm going to remove all that. Okay. To all of them. Okay, so now I have that first paragraph done. See, now what you need to do is you need to revise this so it's not so repetitive. So see, I have the as a rule. I'm going to have to revise these so that I'm not repeating the same sentence frame over and over. And since all of this evidence comes from the same article, I can also revise this sentence frame right here that says in the article. So all of these transitions, I want to revise them. And then see how I have the same, the beginning of the sentence starts the same. I want to revise it. I want to revise the claims too. So I don't want to repeat the same sentence starter for that. And it's actually that's how you're supposed to spell his name. So it's with an M. It's frustrating that I saw so many different spellings of his name. Even on this website, that the one we did, they misspelled LaFleur. The government website that we looked at today. Okay, so I highlighted the things you need to revise.
I think I probably spelled it differently a couple times. I'm not even sure, but I've seen different spellings too, so I was always confused.
Yeah, it was confusing for me, like, because this is the first time I've done this unit. Like, we introduced it as a with me, Mr. Fish, Mr. Kushel, and Mrs. Green Bennett. We wanted to study this case with our students to look at how to like use evidence-based writing and argumentation, and to introduce the Toolman model, so the claim, evidence, and warrant. And so, in using this case, it was frustrating because we were looking at the evidence. Not only were names misspelled, but there were some dates that were inaccurate, like the date of the trial on some of the pieces of evidence. Something said it happened in August, and other said it happened in September. The murder was in August and the trial was in September. So it was frustrating to look at some of the articles and see that they were inaccurate in the way that they were presenting information to people on the internet. So it was difficult. Okay, so I got your first paragraph here. And so I highlighted things in yellow that you need to revise. Let me go on to your second body paragraph. But you guys saw how I did that, right?
Okay, but that was just I muted myself. Sorry. But we still need to do body paragraph 2 and 3 as well, right?
Yep, I'm gonna help you right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna do everything for you. All you're gonna have to do is do the revision. Let's say, so now I don't need the thesis, because remember, your thesis is your intro. So you only need one intro for the entire essay. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna go to here, paste without formatting. And then I'm gonna go through and remove all these random spaces. If you wanna help Arlene like you did on the other one, that would be great. So for those of you at the graphic organizers done, it's making it so this essay is going to piece together nicely. Okay, so there's the second body paragraph. And I'm going to highlight stuff that you need to revise. Let's go ahead and replace, spell his name correctly. So I'm using the Control F feature to find where the name was misspelled and going through and fixing them. I'm basically doing the find and replace act. So for the as a rule, see how I can type it in the find feature and it shows me where that transition is used. And then right here, when you have this part, the question, what you need to do is you need to paraphrase that in your own words. So paraphrase what either the prosecutor or the defense attorney said, instead of having it in your quote. So you need to paraphrase the question before your quote. Basically meaning like put it in your own words, like describe what was asked of the witness. Okay. So anytime you have those questions like that, Arlene, again, you're going to paraphrase that and you're going to put it in your own words. Okay. Cool. All right, well, you're highlighting that. So just highlight it as a reminder. Here, I'll highlight it for you. So I'm just highlighting things in yellow to remind you you need to change that or correct it, okay? And then see how you have the repeated introduction to the sentence too? So you'll need to rephrase those claims, okay? Now let's do your opposing view paragraph. Okay, so again, I'm just going to copy and paste. That actually pastes it a little bit better. Okay, and then the only thing you're missing is your conclusion. I'll highlight that in yellow to remind you need to write a conclusion. And then for your works cited, you need to still identify the two pieces of evidence that we used. So the trial witness website.
MLA format?
Yeah, MLA format. So you have the beginnings of your introduction here. You just need to present more background about what the case is or what had taken place. And then you need to introduce, so the things here, the things that you're missing, I'll write it in yellow. Okay, those are the things that you need to add to your introduction. And then in your conclusion, you need to say, okay. So the parts in yellow are where you need to do your revision, okay, Arlene? Did that help?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna make a copy of this. And I'm gonna call it Arlene's sample essay. Okay, and I'll actually attach it back to the assignment for you guys so that you guys can see what I did with Arlene's essay. So that we both have it open at the same time so that you can help me work. So I'm going to open up my Who Killed Emmett Till essay. And Kamara, if you could be on it at the same time so that we can work together. Okay, so first things first. No, you didn't have to do this one. We're gonna do it right now. We're gonna start working on it. We're gonna model how to do this assignment. Yeah, as long as you've done the graphic organizers, you're good, okay? So open this up, and Kamara, if you can go ahead and put in your first name, last name, the period, and the date that this is due. I'm gonna highlight things in yellow, Kamaria, that you still need to update. So you need to insert a title after you're finished with the essay. Okay, don't do it before. Okay, you're gonna need your introduction, your body paragraph 1 that I'm gonna pull from the graphic organizer, your body paragraph 2, again, that I'm gonna pull from the graphic organizer, and then your opposing view paragraph, which we have a graphic organizer for, and then you're gonna need your conclusion, right? So you know you need those 5 components for this essay. Maria, if you could do the first name, last name, period, and date. So I'm going to go to Kamaria's first body paragraph graphic organizer that she has complete. So I'm going to go to Google Classroom. We did this one way back at the beginning of February, so February 4th. So I'm going to go to our graphic organizer. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to go in. I'm going to take everything that she has here. I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to copy your graphic organizer. I'm going to go to the essay. And under body paragraph 1, I'm going to paste without formatting. So it pasted everything that she had in her graphic organizer. Now I'm going to remove, I'm going to move the thesis up to the intro because she could use that to add to her introduction in for her essay. And then I'm going to go through and start moving these sentences around. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting it into a paragraph from the graphic organizer. You're missing right here, you're missing a warrant. Oh wait, no, that is what this is. Oh, okay. Oh, it got mixed. Okay, I see it now. There we go. There we go. Third claim from the first body paragraph. Uh, okay. All right, so I have what you had in that graphic organizer. I have that here. So now what I need to do is looking at this, you still need to, so this is your introduction. Here are the things that you need to add to your introduction. Okay, so you need to provide and introduce Okay, so these are components you're still missing in your intro. And then the whole thing, you want to revise to make sure that it's introducing your topic. Okay, so this final sentence right here, these are things that you still need to do, but for the whole thing, I gave you this comment, okay? Now looking at the paragraph itself, okay, the things that you need to fix about this paragraph, you'll notice that it gets kind of repetitive with this as a rule. So you're gonna have to go in and change these transitions so that it's not so repetitive in your writing. Same thing with the in the article it states. You're going to want a new way of introducing your quotes instead of just using the same one over and over. So you're going to have to revise these signal phrases that you're using for these sentences, okay? So everything that I'm highlighting in yellow are things that you'll want to modify. And then see how you keep using this one too, Bryant until killed till because. Bryant and Malum killed till. So you'll need to revise that too so that you're not repeating that phrase as well. Okay, so you have your first body paragraph. Now let's get that second body paragraph. So body paragraph 2. Okay, so I'm going to go to your other graphic organizer for your second body paragraph. Go to classwork. Go to this other body paragraph. And again, come on, you have that turned in. Excellent, thank you. I'm going to go to the graphic organizer. I'm just going to, this time I don't need the thesis because I already have that thesis, right? I have it from the intro from the first body paragraph. So I don't need to copy the thesis, but I do need the rest of the paragraph. And then what I'll want to do is go to here, go to body paragraph 2, paste without formatting, and then get rid of all these little headers that it has. You guys see what I'm doing? See, I'm using the graphic organizers to build this essay. Okay, and then again, you'll need to revise it. So at the beginning of this, you're going to have to introduce the source. So what source are you using for this paragraph? Same thing for this one. At the beginning of this paragraph, you'll have to introduce the source. Okay. Then you'll have to revise for this as a rule. Again, you don't want to keep repeating that transition. You can even do Control F on your keyboard, type in as a rule, and it'll show you all the times that you used it so that you know where you have to modify it. And okay. And then you have your final paragraph, which is that opposing, or the final body paragraph, which is the opposing view paragraph. So again, I'm going to go to that graphic organizer. And again, I'll go to yours, Kamaria. This one actually pastes a little bit easier because I used a spreadsheet instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the entire thing, the entire spreadsheet, and I'm going to go to the essay right here. I'm going to paste without formatting. Go ahead and get rid of these spaces. Wait, it's missing the some people may say sentence. Let me see. There we go. Oh, it didn't copy it. Here, let me see. There we go. Yeah, see, I didn't copy it properly. Okay, so now I'm gonna copy this. I'll fix this. Yeah, I repeated the same thing. There we go. See, it's already got that as a rule highlighted for me. Okay, so I know that I want to fix that transition. Then the other thing that you're missing is your conclusion, Kamaria. So what you want to do for your conclusion, I'll highlight it in yellow. Again, everything in yellow you want to revise. Okay. And then the other thing that you'll need is for this works cited, you're going to have to cite the two sources in MLA format. So cite those two sources. Okay. See how I did that, everybody? You see what I did? How I pulled that information from the graphic organizers? And I showed Kamaria what she has to start working on and revising. How long did that take? I want to say 10 minutes. But now comes the hard part. Now comes the revising process. Okay, so now you have to revise it and see how there's other things like here, some capitalization errors. So anything that's in yellow, Kamara, you want to fix. Kamara, did that help? Do you now see what you have to do? Yeah. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Since I did a lot of this for Kamara and a lot of her work is done, what I'm going to do is so that you guys have an example of what this assignment looks like. I'm going to make a copy of Kamaria's essay so that you guys can see this sample as to what I did. And I'll share it back with you, the entire class, so that you can see what we got done during the Zoom, so that for you guys, when you're transferring your graphic organizers, you'll be able to see this as a sample for the finished product, or what you should be doing for this next step. So I'll even attach it to the essay here so that it's an additional resource for you guys to work with. See how it has Kamaria's sampled now? And so you guys will be able to see what she has so far before she does her revisions and finishes it off. Although I'm sharing that sample with you, I do not want to see any plagiarism. So if you copy what Kamaria has and it doesn't connect back to your guys' graphic organizers, you will earn a 0. So make sure you use your graphic organizers to write your essay. Does anyone have any questions about this process or how I did that? So again, I went through and I took the graphic organizers and I merged them into here. She still needs to finish off her introduction. She still needs to write her conclusion. And all the parts in yellow she needs to revise. The date it's due. So when's your final draft due? Okay, so that's what you would put. You always put when the assignment is due as your date. That way when you're looking at it too, it's a kind of a reminder. I need to get this done by this date. Yeah, so that's when your paper is due. Okay. So that's what you guys are going to start working on today. So I need you to start working on revising and putting together the essay using your graphic organizers. You now have a sample, thanks to Kamaria, that is linked to the actual essay. So you have, and open up your essay. So I don't expect you have anything written already, but let's go to the essay, Emmett Till argumentative essay. Let's open your answer document up. And if you can follow along with me, Evelyn, and help me with this assignment, I would really appreciate it, okay? So that I'm not doing all the work. So Evelyn, go ahead and put in your first name, last name, the period, and the date that assignment is due. If you could do that for me, it would be helpful. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start putting in some notes. So you do need to put in a title for your essay after you're completed with it. So Okay, so I'm just giving you a note of when you should choose a title. Wait until the very end to choose your title, okay? Now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get that first graphic organizer that you completed. So I'm gonna go to classwork. Oops, that is not what I wanted to click on. Okay, so I'm gonna go to classwork. I'm gonna go to that first graphic organizer that you completed, Evelyn. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the graphic organizer that you have right here, and I'm gonna copy it. So I'm gonna Control C, I'm gonna take the whole thing. I'm gonna go to your essay over here. So Evelyn, I need you to put your first name, last name, period, and date. And again, you'll have to look up when is your final draft due. So I'm gonna paste without formatting, and so you paste everything from your graphic organizer. And I have to get rid of some of the spacing. So I'm just taking that graphic organizer, Evelyn, and I'm turning it into a paragraph on your actual essay. Okay, and then remember the thesis is what you're actually going to be putting into your, so I have that first body paragraph layout done. The thesis is actually going to be used in your introduction. So when you build your introduction, you'll put that in there. So I'm going to highlight this in yellow because you do need to revise your thesis. And then I'll put some notes of things you need to add for your introduction. Okay, so I put in some notes for what you need to do in your introduction, okay? Then right here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight some things that you wanna revise in the actual body, your first body paragraph, okay? So for your first body paragraph, you'll notice that we actually have repetitive sentence frames that we're using because we're using it for the graphic organizer. So anytime you use that Roy Bryant killed Emmett Till because, you're gonna have to revise that sentence starter. Okay, and then the as a rule phrase, you can only use it once, and then you're going to have to revise that signal phrase so that it's not so repetitive. Because if you keep saying as a rule in your writing, it's going to make it sound clunky, right? And then you also have in the article it states, you can only use that once. Okay, after that, you have to use a different signal phrase to introduce your quote. Okay, so everything that I'm highlighting in yellow are things that you need to revise. Also, at the beginning of your introduction, I'm going to put in a comment. You need to identify the source that you're using this evidence for. So you need the name, title, and author. You need the name of the source you will use in this paragraph to make your argument. Okay, so you have to introduce your source at the beginning of this paragraph, okay? Let's go on to your second body paragraph. So you see how I'm highlighting things in yellow that you need to revise? So for the second body paragraph, Evelyn, so thank you for completing that. Let me go ahead and give you a 4 on this assignment. Well done. Okay, the other graphic organizer, that was your second body paragraph. Okay, and this time I don't need the thesis because the thesis is just your uh, what you're going to be putting in the introduction for your essay. So I'll get the rest of it. I'll highlight all of the graphic organizers. I'll press Control C to copy it, and I'll go to your essay. And then again, I'm going to paste it without formatting. And then I'm going to go through and get rid of this weird spacing. You guys are seeing how I'm using the graphic organizer to write this essay? So if you did all 3 graphic organizers, it makes the essay much easier to write because now we have it all broken down, and it's going to make this assignment go really quickly. Okay, and then I'll go through and highlight for you, Evelyn, things that you'll want to revise. Again, at the beginning of this paragraph, you're going to want to introduce the source. So you want to introduce that at the beginning. What are you going to use? So that's the trial witness source, right? Then you're going to have to, you can use the in the testimony of, you can use that sentence frame once, but then this as a rule, remember, we don't want to be repetitive. So we're going to have to look at new ways to revise our commentary. And so in this in testimony of, you're going to have to revise that sentence frame too. Okay. And then lastly, Evelyn, you're going to need a conclusion. And so remember, for your conclusion, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to remind Okay, so just kind of like an opinion or like to close your thought about it. Okay, so the things that are in yellow, Evelyn, you're going to have to obviously revise all of that, right? So I'm just giving you that as to help you build your essay. So for this, I think I got everything in there. So I got our intro, I got that first body paragraph, the things in yellow you're going to be revising. And then I got your conclusion. Then for your works cited, that's those 2 sources that we used. You're going to have to cite those 2 sources in MLA format. So okay, so make sure that you cite those 2 sources in MLA format. And I also suggest in the testimony one, let's say if you use Mose Wright's testimony more than once, like you do, it looks like you do, then you could say Mose Wright also said. So okay, so you want to revise the order And then that'll allow you to say something like Mo's right also said, and then talk about what rule that creates. Okay. Evelyn, did this help you to start your essay, to see the structure of it and work on it? Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do, since this really helped you, what I'll do is I'm going to make a copy of this, Evelyn, and I'm actually going to share it with your classmates as a sample of what it looks like when you merge all the graphic organizers together. And then your classmates can look back at it to see how I merged your graphic organizers together.